Go. Welcome to Rowdy Rants. I'm Rowdy. Thank you for coming. Here at Rowdy Rants, we talk about pretty much anything and everything. It's all opinion. It's all opinion. Maybe some gossip. You know, of course, one of the things that has been in the news is Will Smith. Will Smith took offense to a joke told by Chris Rock at the awards ceremony and walked up on stage and bitch smacked him. Can't say I really fault Will Smith. I don't know the man personally, but yeah, I think if somebody actually said something that was demeaning to my wife or degrading, or I felt like it was hurtful, I may have reacted as well. I don't know if I would have done that or not, but considering the fact that it was on TV, yeah, maybe. Pretty good maybe. So I'm not going to try and say I wouldn't have done it. However, I can't help but feel that Chris Rock could have been better prepared. When somebody walks inside your space like that, and he knew something was wrong when Will Smith started coming up on stage, he even said, uh-oh. You know, maybe he thought something else was going to happen. But when somebody is approaching you in a situation like that, you need to be prepared. You know, I don't know, maybe I'd suggest that Chris Rock take Aikido lessons. That would have been appropriate. Something. He needs to be more situationally aware. Further, on that particular issue, I found it interesting that one of Will Smith's children, his son, posted on Twitter, "That's how we do it." Does this allude to something else, or is he just bragging on his dad? You know, kid bragging, proud of his dad. Don't know. Don't really matter. It's all done and over with. I think the big outcome of this that a lot of people miss is that the makers of the movie King Richard got millions of dollars in free advertising. But pretty much Will Smith owned the awards after that point. It was all about Will Smith. Even when he apologized, he didn't apologize to Chris Rock, not until later, much later. And then you hear all this stuff about how the academies asked him to leave and he refused. And then, no, they didn't ask him to leave. One of the people out there actually went out and said to him, "We want you to stay." All talk. Who knows what actually happened? You know, pretty much the only one that could actually say it would be Will Smith, and that's his business. I think the last thing I saw about it was where the board had decided they were going to ban Will Smith from the awards for 10 years. But this was days after Will Smith had already voluntarily resigned from the Academy. So what difference did it make? That now that they've decided to ban him, and he's voluntarily resigned, does that mean that if he tried to sign up again, or if he was invited to sign up, he can't? Whatever. And then you still have the ongoing Ukraine-Russia war, which has dragged on and on. Just to be clear, there's no good guys on either side of this conflict, period. You can say whatever you want to say. Do your research on the subject. The whole issue is cloudy and it's a mess. Crimea, which was taken, it was mostly ethnic Russians, even though it was Ukrainian land. Pretty much Russia has always counted on Ukraine being a very close ally, if not a pawn. And for a lot of the things to happen that have, does explain why Russia has done some of the things they've done. They needed to maintain ready access to the Black Sea Fleet to the Black Sea. So that right there is exactly why they went in and took Crimea. They, in this particular issue, you have republics, more or less, that the closer you get to the border of Russia, the higher the percentage of ethnic Russians you find. Ukraine is statistically almost evenly split. There's actually more Ukrainians than Russians, but not a lot more. The further away you get from Russia, the higher statistically the number of Ukrainians are. This is a mess. In my opinion, it's closer to being a civil war than anything else. Even though Ukraine wants to be separate from Russia, you have to consider the people. The government is definitely pro-Ukrainian, but it's kind of like the split in politics in the United States. One little push in either direction can determine which party is in control. What's the outcome going to be? Who knows? In this economy that we have right now, Russia is going to be hurting no matter what. Once this conflict ends, regardless of how it ends. The same with Ukraine. We're not in a friendly economy right now. And it's not going to be friendly for a long time. I'm not even going to try and go further in on that. You can talk about all the aid you want going into Ukraine. You can't buoy a nation in the kind of a conflict that we see going on. You know, I do know that in a lot of the news you start seeing where they're finding civilians have been shot. But if you pay attention and you actually do a little digging around, you'll see that the Ukrainian government has been arming and training civilians. So it should not be surprising that we are now seeing civilian combatants getting killed. It's an ugly situation, no matter how you slice it up. Enough with that one. Biden's still lying like a dog about inflation. It's Russia's fault. It's anything but what Biden did caused it. Regardless of the fact that inflation surged and continued to surge shortly after his election. You can't dump trillions of dollars into an economy and it not have an impact. When you dump fantasy money, because this was make-believe money. They just printed it. There's nothing backing it. It's not backed by credit or anything else. They just printed it. What you do is you dilute the money supply because you've got lots more money going around chasing the same number of products. So, of course, prices are going to start going up and you're going to start having supply shortages. You'd have supply shortages even if you didn't have other problems because the stuff is leaving the shelf before they can reach replacements. COVID, my opinion is COVID's endemic. I'm not trying to give out medical advice. Be careful. Try not to get sick. I've had it a couple of times. As far as COVID goes, hopefully there's not much of an uptick in the fall. Right now we're still moving into late spring, possibly early summer. And I think with people being outside more, the numbers will actually either level off or start dropping despite other things. Well, hopefully. That's more of a hopeful thing. than anything else. Because when people are getting closed in, that's when you have a higher potential for transmission, in my opinion, once again. I know that there's a lot of people that are very upset about the idea that they would come out and say, if you can't handle the gas prices, then go buy an electric car. Sorry, your average middle class, lower middle class family doesn't have an extra $50,000 laying around to go buy a Tesla. I'm pretty sure that would be a low-end Tesla. I don't even know, I think $30,000 would be the minimum down payment probably. Can't really see it. Plus, electric cars aren't free. You have to have the capability to charge it. You can't just plug it in like you would a regular extension cord and expect it to fully charge in a couple hours. You have to actually have the room in your breaker box for a dedicated circuit to be able to charge it if you're wanting to fast charge. A slow charge, a trickle charge is very slow. And most people, lots of families, they've got a car going, from early morning, sometimes two cars in a family, going from early morning until dusk at night and beyond. You've got the soccer mom SUV on the road for mom and the shopping and the kids. You've got dad going back and forth to work if it's a complete family. I can't imagine the nightmare this would be where you have a single parent family and they're trying to get by with an electric car from dawn to dusk. I don't see how it could be done. I really don't. Not to mention the fact that just the service on a vehicle like that, which is in time going to require battery service and replacement. And you can talk about all of the gimmies that the manufacturers do. It still costs money. Charging it costs money. We're not talking about pennies to charge it. Not in the long term. It doesn't work that way. And if you start having large numbers of people suddenly in an area, can the grid handle that much load? Because people, the primary times to work are daylight hours, and people would basically be depending on their vehicle to charge overnight, if not quicker. So everybody's going to be doing it at the same time. So now you're talking about high load during the daytime and at least an increasing load at night for every person that buys something like this. And our grid isn't really set up to handle extra load. They already have rolling blackouts in many areas, especially on the left coast. I really just don't think that this is real well thought out at all. But I haven't seen much that I thought was even remotely well thought out coming from the left coast. Or New York, for that matter, the East Coast. Nope, sorry, don't see it. Also in the news, I see we're still dealing with men deciding they're women and going into women's sports and dominating them. Can't see it. Doesn't make sense. That'd be like me walking up saying, I feel feminine. It's ridiculous. And I honestly think it's very disingenuous for people to think that it's okay. You have people, human beings, who have dedicated large chunks of their lives, if not lifelong dreams, in athletics, who are being pushed back by insert whoever that decides I'm Margaret or Cindy or Velma or Verna. It's not right. This is not right. Personally, I could care less who you swap spit with. I could care less what you think you are. I don't care if you think you're an attack helicopter. It makes no difference whatsoever to me. As long as it doesn't disenfranchise others. When you start putting people in a position where they are disenfranchising others, that's wrong. That is just dead wrong. And that's not really, I think I'm going to drop it at that. That's all I got to say about it. Because I have no respect whatsoever for the people who are doing this. They know they are taking advantage. Okay. I wanted to go ahead and take a minute and let folks know, if you'd like to support the channel, me, my efforts, you can always send a donation through buymeacoffee.com/rowdyrants. I always appreciate comments, likes below. That helps me know that I'm on spot. I'm not a big channel, but I do like to try and keep up with this a little bit. Lately, my wife, the lovely Cora, has had a lot of doctor appointments and had to be seen about several issues. She's doing much better now. Although I think they're getting ready to put her on a treadmill pretty soon. She's not happy about that. But otherwise, she's doing a lot better. So we're all sincerely relieved with that. Now, my name's Rowdy. These are my rants. I love discussing this stuff. If somebody wants to leave comments below, I'm more than happy to do it. If you're just going to start posting comments that are endless, negative criticisms where you just gloss over any facts that somebody points out for you, don't bother. I won't respond. If you actually seriously want to discuss something, I'm great with that. If you'd like to email, you can always check in the description below. I have a Proton Mail email address. More than happy to talk to you. My name's Rowdy, and these are my rants. You have a nice day. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Next.